Welcome to Legion Radio, a podcast about all things e-commerce, the official podcast of the private label Legion, hosted by Tim Jordan.
Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Legion Radio, the podcast of the private label Legion. And today we have Michelle Barnum-Smith. I said it right that time, didn't I?
You did. You did. Excellent.
And I met Michelle here recently, maybe a couple months ago, as an expert in chatbots. And at first, I'll be honest with you, I did not figure out the correlation between chatbots and Amazon products. Now, you know, in our own personal business, we sell products off of Amazon, so I got it. But the whole idea of chatbots for Amazon sellers was new to me. And I've spent a little bit of time with Michelle going over these tactics and such. And I thought it'd be great to have her on a podcast episode to share some of what she sees, because she has a unique perspective in the industry as successful for Amazon sellers. But also, I was really intrigued by her journey. She was just kind of giving me a little more information I wasn't aware of on how she got here. And it's interesting. I think all of you listening are going to find some value in it and be a little bit surprised where she came from. I don't mean where she was born. I mean like her journey here, to the Amazon community. So, Michelle, welcome.
Tim, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So let's talk about how you got here. You said that you were originally, before you got into this Amazon seller world, you were doing digital marketing. What kind of digital marketing were you doing?
Yeah. So, I mean, way back, I've been doing marketing for almost 20 years, and, you know, I moisturize. So if you can believe it, but I started off doing high-tech marketing in the corporate world for about 12 years. And then I got married and started my family. And like probably all of your listeners, you know, want more freedom and flexibility than the typical 9-to-5 job. Right. And so about that time, I transitioned to starting my own marketing agency, and I was focusing on building digital marketing funnels and courses for, you know, coaches, trainers, authors, kind of that space. And one of my biggest beefs with kind of that world was how freaking long it takes to build a digital marketing funnel. I'm sure you have experienced that. Yep. Probably in your marketing, and you have to build like this massive email list and this massive, like, you know, 40 emails and all of this kind of craziness. And it was a long time to market, and it was like expensive for my clients, and it was just so hard to optimize. And it was just like, from a marketing perspective, like it was just a nightmare, really, is what it came down to. And in early 2017, I saw my first messenger marketing chatbot type of experience. And I was just like, oh, that's sexy. That is, you know, as a marketing, because my superpower is marketing strategy. And I think in terms of like, okay, what goal do we have, and how can we most effectively accomplish that goal? And, you know, in marketing and in the marketing world, there's shiny object syndrome all over the place. There's new tools that pop up constantly. In the 5 minutes that we've been talking, there's probably a new marketing tool that's been released. Yep. Right. And I had to laugh because my cousin, she's actually an expert in e-commerce accounting. Happy to introduce you to her. She's awesome. But, you know, we talk about our businesses and our business world. I'm like, accounting hasn't changed in like 1,000 years, you know, there's nothing new, but marketing is constantly changing. You're constantly having to pivot, and that's both exhilarating and exhausting, you know, because you have to keep up, and then you also like, you're obsolete within a minute, you know?
Yep.
And so when I, as a marketing strategist, saw chatbots and messenger marketing specifically, I was just like, hey, there's a real opportunity here. And I just like grabbed everything I could on the topic. And there really wasn't much. It was just this emerging tech. Messenger had just been a person-to-person platform, you know, and all of a sudden it was B2C, you know, like business to consumer. And I was like, oh, this is going to kill it. And so basically that's kind of like the shortened version of where I was and how I suddenly came upon the chatbots.
So I assume that you experimented some with chatbots before you determined that you were going like all in. Can you tell us about your first like experiments with what type of things you were marketing with chatbots and how that went?
I mean, essentially the first thing I did was I took that previous world that I'd been in, training coaches, trainers, authors, and I built chatbots. I basically built out their funnels that had previously been on platforms like ClickFunnels and OptimizePress and all of those kind of things. And I rebuilt them with chatbots instead. And what's so cool about chatbots is that it's a conversation. I mean, it's the opportunity for somebody to interact with your information, with your product. An email is about as effective as handing somebody a flyer in the form of interactiveness, and or like a billboard on the freeway. You're just like, I can't interact with that. No, I'm not going to text while I drive to get that, cheeseburger or whatever it is. But with bots and with chat marketing is that it's conversational. It's fun. It's engaging. You can create quizzes, and instead of it being like, "Hey, take their survey and find out what kind of what color your aura is" or something like that, it's like you can create this fun interactive quiz. And one of my first e-commerce clients, because previously I hadn't been in the e-commerce space, one of my first e-commerce clients was like a curly hair solution. I have. You guys are on the podcast, can't see, but I have straight hair. I have very straight hair. So I am not familiar with the curly hair world at all. But essentially there's 9 different curl types. Who knew? And so one of the first things we did was build a curl quiz, and running Facebook ads to a curl quiz that is all done and delivered via Messenger. So you don't need to send somebody to a different quiz platform or a quiz landing page or something like that. It all happens inside of Messenger. And what's cool is that based on the responses that obviously people give you, then you can do what we call a consultative sell. You can send somebody both their quiz outcome and then the recommended products based on their hair type. Crazy, right? And so we set that up, and immediately we saw like a 60% increase in sales. And to me, that was like insane. This lady had been on Shark Tank. She had, like crazy brand recognition just to her website, but running cold traffic ads from Facebook to her website didn't have that great of a conversion. Send them through Messenger and have this kind of consultative experience. Plus, all this data about your customer, your subscriber, right? You have all of this information.
You've got all their
now.
Facebook profile information. You've got everything.
Right. Plus all the information that they then just shared with you in the answering the questions as part of the quiz. So all sorts of segmentation possibilities, and, the marketing nerd in me just totally like completely geeked out. But we were seeing amazing conversion rates on the back end. And so to me as a marketer, I was just like, okay, there is a significant opportunity here. I'm going to shift to e-commerce chatbots. And because the conversion rate was so high, and it's a faster time to ROI and all of those things that I personally love. And pretty soon I put myself on Upwork, Upwork.com, as just like, it's a freelance marketplace, great place to find people. And I got found pretty dang fast because once again, chatbots were this new tech, and there really wasn't, people were hearing about it, but they just, they were intimidated by it, rightly so. It's kind of scary initially when you're first hearing about it. And so people would go to Upwork to try to find an expert. And I quickly became that because there were all sorts of use cases for it.
So what was the weirdest request for a chatbot build out you ever got on Upwork?
Actually, it's both weird and cool. So I had a client who is the biggest name in natural birthing, and yeah, totally different world than mine, but like they eat their placenta, things like that.
You don't eat your placenta? I thought everybody ate their placenta.
Yeah, not
yeah,
much.
I'm kidding. Okay.
If you're into that, great. I wasn't. Anyway, so you can put that in the show notes, Tim. We talk about eating your placenta on this call. Oh my gosh. Anyway, really great people. Really love them. But they had we built out a pregnancy tracker for them via the chatbot. So somebody could literally enter in their due date, and then with some kind of magical chatbot like technology on the back end, then we could put them in different sequences based on when they're due, and essentially like a week to week tracker of, okay, you're week 12. This is what you can expect this week. You're going to start vomiting violently, and here's some natural remedies that we recommend for where you're at. So it was to serve people, and guide them. But we got over, I don't know, we had over 50,000 people go through that bot.
Oh my gosh. And what you're doing is you're running basically promotional ads of products based on their sequence or location in their 40-week timeline, essentially.
So at various points, the people had both a natural birthing course, but then they also had all of these affiliate products on Amazon as well that they would recommend along the way. Some of them were white label, and some of them were just like straight up, like, we really like this breast pillow, or breastfeeding pillow. And so it was an opportunity to kind of seed, it was a combination of information and selling. So service and selling, and giving women what they needed to be comfortable in their preparations for giving birth.
Gotcha. So you went from more traditional marketing to chatbots, stuck yourself on Upwork, and you probably had all sorts of different people contact you on Upwork, for different types of various reasons. Now, I know that you have since become more focused on Amazon sellers. And I know that probably was not a coincidence. You probably had all sorts of different placenta eating opportunities landing on you from Upwork. So why did you start steering yourself down the path of Amazon sellers and Amazon products as your specialty in chatbot build-outs?
Yeah, so I am not an Amazon seller. That's something that people didn't know about me originally when I started. Now that I speak at Amazon events all over the place, I'll be in London next week speaking at Amazon headquarters. Crazy. How did I get here? What is this craziness? But like I told you, I'm no idiot. I see opportunity and I work towards it. But like October 2017, I had my first Amazon seller find me on Upwork, and she started explaining this crazy world of Amazon. And I didn't even know that there were private label sellers on Amazon. I thought when you bought on Amazon, you just bought Amazon's products. Right. So, which, I think that's still important for Amazon sellers to understand, that most consumers are stupid like me, and they don't realize that there's like private label sellers on Amazon, or people, arbitrage sellers, all of these different things. Anyway, so she started exposing me to this world of the dark underbelly of Amazon, and ranking your products, product launches, getting reviews, and we really kind of like covered the gamut in running chatbots for her brand, and doing product research, getting keyword feedback from subscribers and all sorts of things, testing different subscriber methods to attract subscribers. And around that same time, I met some other kind of gurus in the space who found me on Upwork, crazy enough. And we started just testing these things and just trying new things, because it really was just this kind of A, chatbots were new, and B, chatbots for Amazon were new, right? And so it was just this massive time of testing and trying new things and figuring out what works, what doesn't work. And that's marketing in general. It's art and science. You're creative, you figure out these kind of different paths, and then you test it over and over again to see, well, how did it perform? Did it work? Did it not work? That kind of a thing. So, so after all of that going down, then it just became just a referral fest.
And I guess one of the points that I could make that would be, I'm sure, accurate, is that you chased kind of the rabbit trail of Amazon sellers because you see so much opportunity for Amazon sellers, which is like intuitively a little bit surprising to me, because most Amazon sellers think of themselves as Amazon sellers and not product sellers. So they fit themselves into the mold of the typical Amazon seller, and they think that the only way to engage with their buyers is, maybe just a very simple insert card that says, "Thanks, we'd love a review," or an email follow-up that can't have links and it can't have, anything in it. Can't have your own website URL. And what is happening now with chatbots is a completely white hat within terms of service way of now capturing your Amazon sellers. I have people tell me all the time, I have 500, sales a month of this product. And I say, but you have 0 customers. You're like, no, 500 people bought my stuff. And I say, no, 500 people had Amazon send you stuff. Like Amazon has those customers. You do not have those customers.
Yep. They're Amazon buyers. They're not your brand's customers.
Exactly. So with chatbots, what I've seen is it's kind of like a fun way for people to get engaged. And of course, you can capture them multiple ways. Getting an email address is one thing. But when somebody engages with your chatbot, now you've got all sorts of information on them through their Facebook profile. You've got a way where you can message them with over a 90% open rate still, right?
Yeah.
With chatbots.
Yeah. It's killer.
You can engage with them automatically where you're not sending emails back and forth. You've got this whole chatbot that just is all automated. And you can do that now with QR codes. You can do it with Bitly links. There's a ton of different ways to do it. So now that you've been engaged really heavily in the Amazon community for how long now? A year?
No, I mean, it was 2017. As soon as I saw that opportunity with the Amazon sellers and I pretty much like I still have my Upwork profile, but like I have it set so I scare away people who can't afford me. We'll just say that. But I ain't cheap, y'all. But yeah, I mean, as of October 2017, I really kind of shifted gears and went all in on Amazon sellers and really kind of figuring this out, primarily for kind of two reasons. First is just opportunity in general, the opportunity to serve the marketplace. And second, because I saw how much my Amazon sellers were getting beat up in the marketplace. And there's kind of that like righteous indignation that like wells up inside of me where I'm like, this sucks. Like, we got to fix this. We got to figure out how to win. And a lot of the people that I worked with at first weren't, yes, they sell on Amazon, but they really do think of themselves as brands, and Amazon is one of their channels. And I know that you and I have talked about that a lot, Tim, and trying to convince people like, don't just be an Amazon seller, be a brand, and Amazon's just one of your channels, But Messenger really gives you the power to be able to, really embrace that, and to have your own traffic source. Because if you have your own traffic source, it doesn't matter where you send people. Yeah, you can send traffic if you need to rank a product on Amazon but once you have that list and those people become passionate about your brand and are subscribers to your brand, you can sell direct. You can sell them on Walmart to send them to Walmart.com, or you can send them to your own website. Or in the future, you can sell them directly inside of Messenger. That's coming. So, it's really the difference between people, just doubling down and saying Amazon is all that there is for us, or can we take this, to the next level? I just got off a call with one of my clients where, they have razor thin margins with Amazon, and we're like, look, let's meet your objectives to get you what you need to do so you can win on Amazon and be positioned for winning, and then let's start transitioning that traffic.
Yeah. So what is the biggest hurdle that you see people have as Amazon sellers in thinking of, and I'm not even talking about like actually implementing, but making the decision to start implementing chatbots? Like, what's the one thing that people constantly tell you, like, oh, chatbots would be cool, except, or yeah, that sounds like a great idea, except? And I suspect I know the answer you're going to give, but what do you see as the biggest reason people won't even begin to try this?
Well, it comes down to the two T's, time and tech. So people like Amazon sellers, especially, they're completely chickens with their heads cut off. They have a million things going on. And a lot of that has to do with how toxic the marketplace is. Where you think that your product is doing well, and then all of a sudden something changes, and whether that's an algorithm change on Amazon's part, some random seller that's playing hardball or playing dirty, like anything can happen in that marketplace, and so you can never just like rest, right? I think that's so exhausting, and so the time just gets so sucked up in the drama of Amazon, right? And then on the other side is tech. People, and rightly so, get intimidated by new technology. And especially, and Amazon itself is crazy tech to learn. And then you have all these Amazon seller tools that exist out there, Zon this, amazing that, like all sorts of things that are out there to serve you, but still take up so much of your time to figure out, right?
Yeah, shiny object syndrome.
Yeah, exactly. And so really when it comes down to bots, people are totally intimidated by just getting started with the tech because they're just like, one more thing to learn. I don't have time for this, or I don't have the technical skills, or they don't think of themselves as a marketing person. And to be fair, like ManyChat, which is my platform of choice, It is a general business platform. You go to ManyChat.com or you watch their 13-hour free course, and it's gonna be general on how to use the platform, generally speaking. But guess what? Like, it's for people who have any type of business, whether you're a dentist or a used car lot or a restaurant. So trying to figure out, well, how does this work for me personally? Am I going to go search on YouTube? Am I going to go, listen to the guru du jour on the topic? And that's really why I created my course, because I'm like, listen, it's not even a course. It's just a bunch of templates that you just install, because I'm like, I gotta cut the time out, the time element and the tech element out for people so that this can be faster for people to use. So those are really the two things that people, are kind of like throw up and be like, I cannot figure this out.
At what point do Amazon sellers need to start using chatbots? And I know that you have two primary uses that you've discussed. One is for taking an existing audience and using it to launch products. You're driving people to that listing to rank up on Amazon, but also to capture them for post-purchase conversion and post-purchase like audience capture. Right. I know that this probably isn't something applicable for resellers, for arbitrage folks, probably not for most wholesale folks. Is this something that can be used effectively and it's worth their time for a person with one private label product? And do they need like a Shopify store, or, can they pretty much jump in pretty early on in their journey, or do they need to be a little more advanced?
So there's kind of two thought processes. When I entered the chatbot world and when we were all kind of trying to figure this out, everybody was just trying to focus on how can I just get a chatbot so that I can capture my Amazon customer and get them to leave a review. That was like the single method and the single kind of like focus. And I think if you have less than 5 products, I think that still is okay, like an okay focus to have. Although you're going to build a list of people who, who have purchased your product and then not have nothing else to offer them. If you have like one product and you're getting people in as subscribers, that's the end of their journey with you, unless your product is a consumable. I think that's the only thing there, the only caveat. What I really recommend, where chatbots make sense and where you're building your own launch list, my whole strategy is build your own launch list, have your own messenger list so that you can rank your products, review them, launch new products, drive revenue over and over and over again. That's really my kind of strategy. And that works best for private label sellers with at least 5 to 10 related products. And when I say related, I mean,
they fit into the same niche, the same brand catalog. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's not just a bunch of random crap, unless you position yourself as a deal aggregator of some sort,
Yeah, which is pretty unusual. For most private label Amazon sellers, they might have an aggregate of a bunch of different stuff, but they're not usually positioning themselves as like a deal aggregator. Right. That's a good term.
The other place that this doesn't work well is when you have products that are too similar. So late last year, I don't know how it happened, but I pretty much spoke with every single sheet seller, private label seller on Amazon. And I had to break their hearts each time, because I was like, look, this is not a good strategy for you, because Tim, how often do you buy sheets? How often does your household buy sheets?
Maybe once every year. I mean, it's pretty rare.
Maybe, right? Yeah. And so if you're going to have your own launch list of sheet deals,
yeah, it doesn't really work.
Would you as a consumer want to be on that list?
No.
Would your wife?
So you're saying sheets is too related, but if it was pillows and sheets and curtains and bath rugs and hand towels and linens.
Homewares, home linens.
So, right. Okay, that makes sense, because your list can be too defined. And we talk about that. We call it, our catalog. Once we get 10 products that we can like cross reference to each other. So if someone has already bought a microphone, they don't need another microphone, right. But they might need another stand, or they might need a webcam, or they might need the acoustical tiles. So, that's what we reference as like our flagship catalogs, the things where we can actually cross reference, not just a catalog of microphones, but a brand that we can take this buyer and make them this buyer. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
exactly.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. That's a really good point, because I will say, and I'm glad that you're, what you just said about, there's kind of a time and place for it, because there are so many people that they do get this shiny object syndrome, and they're like, oh, new platform, new tool, new software, new da, 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 when they're not ready. And like I have people all the time that are asking like, hey, Tim, how do I set up a Shopify page and run Facebook traffic to my Shopify page? I have one product. I'm like, you don't. Go find another product. Like find 4 or 5 more products. Quit looking ahead too far. Like take little baby steps. Take small bites of this thing. What's the point of driving someone to a Shopify site for one product when it's going to look like a crappy Shopify page with one product? Now, there's exceptions. You can do funnels with one product, but don't try to build out a big social media following on one product. Wait, get more products because that's not going to bring you any revenue yet.
You're not a brand yet. Just because you
Wait
have
till you have a brand
product.
catalog. Yes.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yep. Exactly. The other thing that I warn people on is if they are selling luxury items or items that are, when you're running a ranking campaign, if that product isn't, there's kind of a price sweet spot where you're going for like the impulse purchases, and that's between $10 and $50. If you're running a ranking campaign at like 75% off and you're still higher than $50, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. Yep. We were testing a BOGO offer for a weighted blanket, and the weighted blanket was like $250. And, so a buy one, get one. So yeah, it's a $500 value that you're getting for $250, but it's still
too expensive to be an impulse purchase.
Exactly. And you're having to overcome, like at that point you have a product that has a sales cycle, and a sales cycle is where so for listeners who don't understand what that means, a sales cycle is the time it takes from somebody who first hears about your product to when they finally buy. And the cool thing about search-based marketing or search-based platforms like Amazon or Google is that most of that sales cycle has already happened mentally, or, somebody's already felt the pain or the need of like, oh, my daughter's birthday is coming up. I need to figure out what her birthday is, or, oh, I'm suffering from severe anxiety. And I've heard that, these weighted blankets can help me.
They're already convinced they need a weighted blanket. You're just presenting yours as one of the options.
Right. Now, when you get into bot marketing and when you get into chatbot marketing, that's what we call demand generation. And so when you're doing demand generation, you're essentially trying to find buyers in the midst of cold traffic. Hey, do you need a weighted blanket? And do you need a weighted blanket? Now, when the price is right, most people will do the impulse buy and will take advantage of the offer just because, like, I've heard about those weighted blankets. I wonder if I should give them a shot. Oh, they're $25 or it's a $50 purchase. Like that, you could probably like handle, especially if it's $500 value. Now you do get into the some people will argue with you. I'm like, well, I want to be the quality product. I want to be the luxury product. I don't want to be this piece of crap, and if I'm selling my product for $25,
and
that's going to
there's a time and place for that, but it's not what you're talking about. Like that doesn't apply to the bot things, because I also understand that a lot of the bot sales are impulse buys. You're popping up on their screen with, hey, check this out now, like do it quick. So yeah, the luxury items, that makes complete sense. And I love that because there are so many people that love an idea but don't actually figure out if the idea works in their scenario.
Right.
Like the Shopify pages and like all this other stuff that people do, and it's not really for you. So,
right. And people get mad at me because they buy my services or buy my course and be like, well, it didn't work. I'm like, okay, well, tell me what you're selling. I'm selling luggage. Tim.
Yeah, that's tough.
I haven't bought luggage in 20 years.
You must have some amazing luggage, because I'll tell you,
I never leave the house. I don't know.
I go through luggage like you would not believe. This is no joke. I have broke 3 probably $80 pieces of luggage in the past 3 months. Like I go through it like freaking cordwood.
Who do you fly with? That's what I want to know. They're like taking your luggage and beating it.
I've flown around 300,000 miles in the past 2 years.
Okay, well, you are not a typical user.
I'm not. But I will say, I will also say, in my luggage's defense, because now we're on a sidetrack right now, I pack heavy. Like when me and my wife vacation, my wife's like, I got my carry-on, and I'm like, good, because I'm using your checked baggage allowance because I got 4 suitcases. Like I pack so freaking heavy. I'm leaving for China in a week, and I'm going to have 3 pieces of checked luggage, but one of them is going to be full of product samples. One of them is going to have like 40 pounds of books, because I buy these books for all of the attendees that come on our sourcing retreats in China.
Oh, yeah.
Because we do like mastermind stuff. So like I literally I'm looking at them on the floor right now, like 40 pounds of books. And then I've got clothes. And Michelle, I know this is going to shock you, but I have what doctors call a little bit of a weight problem. So I have to buy the husky size closed, right? And I guess husky size closed just means more fabric. So long story short, luggage is something I buy now. I will say it's never an impulse purchase because it's never like, oh, here's a deal on luggage. So to your point, I get that. It's oh crap, I broke another bag, or oh crap, I need another piece of luggage. And I'm going to Amazon, but it's not an impulse purchase. It's not like, oh, here's a deal on some luggage, because once you've got it, you've got it. So yeah, that makes complete sense. You've got to pick your product, and if you're trying to market something that doesn't work in a certain marketing platform, then you're just going to be SOL.
Yeah. And I think this is, and it's an important thing for any Amazon seller to take off their Amazon selling hat and put on a consumer hat. Anytime you're doing marketing, or even anytime you're doing your product purchasing, as a consumer, would I buy this? Is there a need in the marketplace for this? And I think the thing is that chatbots themselves, especially early on, are positioned kind of as the holy grail of shiny objects. And like, this is it. We finally found the thing that is going to save us from this nuclear war on Amazon that is our day in, day out, existence. And really what it comes down to is like, no, this is a tool that can help you accomplish these goals, but you have to be smart about it. You have to have a strategy in place and not just be like, oh, I'm going to try this, I'm going to try that, and so that's really what I preach is these are the strategies that I use for my Amazon sellers. These are the results that we've gotten. Now, if you're wanting to implement this for yourself, these are the steps that you have to think through prior to implementation, prior to setting this up. And it doesn't have to be like a lot of effort, but like I said, if you have at least 5 to 10 related products that when you're doing a ranking campaign can fit into the price range of $10 to $50, then you're a good fit. If it's not, then, focus on pay-per-click, focus on these other kind of, these other marketing methods to get you your results.
Absolutely. So as we're wrapping up, we're getting a little over 30 minutes. So I know that we need to start wrapping it up, but let me ask you this. Chatbots are a piece of, overall marketing strategy. And like what you were saying, marketing strategy doesn't change as fast as the tools do. The marketing strategy is basically get an offer in front of the right people, get them to make the decision to purchase, and get them to purchase. All right. That's very simplified to understand. But ManyChat's not going to be around forever, and chatbots aren't going to be around forever. What do you see as the future? Like looking 5 years from now, you're going to be an expert on something else because the tools change so fast.
Right.
Do you have any idea what that's going to be? Like, what should I be thinking about what I need to be learning in 4 or 5 years? Like the emerging technology or the emerging platform or anything like that? Look into your crystal ball.
My clairvoyant, my look in my marketing crystal ball. Well, I mean, maybe ManyChat in its current existence or chatbots in their current existence aren't going to be like, but absolutely, as far as the messenger world, Facebook is trying to be the WeChat for the rest of the world. And WeChat is the China platform where every single person in China,
everybody lives on WeChat.
They live on WeChat. It's not
talk,
just chatting.
They buy, they shop, they do everything. They organize, they transfer. Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like
things that we don't think about. And in the midst of all of this is AI, artificial intelligence. And, chatbots really fit under that mother category of AI, because what we're trying to do is automate an experience. And already 80% of consumers today prefer to communicate via chat with brands. And so when it comes to whether that's buying or just customer service or any number of interactions, that's what they prefer is chat-based communication. And so you think about that. And what I think in 5 years, what I would love to see is that instead of buying on your Amazon app, that you're buying via an Amazon chat, that there's no need for a Shopify website because it's all going to happen via your mobile device and it'll still be AI, it'll still be chat, but it'll be a consultative sales experience every single time that you're going and searching for a solution that is consultative instead of this like all out boxing match.
China's already doing that with Taobao, where you run through these different chats through WeChat and places like that. And when you get ready to make a decision, the chat actually opens up to a live video feed with a salesperson. It's ridiculous. And it's all automated. So they run through this automated system and know exactly which salesperson to put you in front of. And the salesperson knows exactly how to close the deal because they know how you've engaged already. So it's like a weird combination. Do you see ManyChat getting involved with video more heavily?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, ManyChat is just ManyChat is a platform on top of Messenger. So any technology that Facebook wants to pursue, ManyChat will find an easy way for people like me and other people who are not software developers out there, business owners, to use the platform to accomplish that and to leverage that capability. So just like Messenger is going to be rolling out, WhatsApp chatbots here in the next few weeks, ManyChat is going to simplify that process.
Time up. Yes. Say it again.
So Facebook owns WhatsApp and Instagram and obviously Messenger, right? And early this year, it announced that that the Messenger platform is going to be the communication platform for WhatsApp and Messenger and Instagram. So Instagram, your scrolling feed will stay the same, but as far as direct message goes, it's all going to happen via Messenger.
So WhatsApp is going to change the way it works?
I don't know the exact way.
That's kind of scary because I live on WhatsApp.
Yeah, but it still is just Messenger. It's just a messenger communication platform. So why would Facebook have Facebook Messenger and WhatsApp?
Because WhatsApp is better.
Well, is it? I mean, it really comes down to like how can they where there's efficiency, there's profitability.
I do see some cool opportunities where like WhatsApp can now connect to brands because Facebook Messenger connects to brand pages. Now, if you can get that makes sense. So we're gonna be watching out for this. So it is April 2nd, 2019. If you guys are listening to this like a year from now, let's see if this speculation turned out to be true.
You asked for 5 years in the future.
WhatsApp would start plugging into branding through Facebook pages.
Oh, that's like 6 weeks out before ManyChat's making that available. And then Instagram chatbots are going to be later this year. So next year about this time, you'd be running running chatbots, for any platform, for running Facebook ads to your Messenger bots and Instagram ads to your Messenger bots and WhatsApp ads. So when people are like, oh, well, my audience isn't on Facebook, guess what? 3.5 billion users between all three of those platforms, your audience is on one of those. So,
absolutely.
And the rest you can send them like direct snail mail via the post office.
So before we wrap up, do you have any last 30-second golden nugget bomb words of wisdom, mind-blowing announcement that you can share?
So my course is available. If you're thinking about using chatbots, just get my course. It's 30 different ManyChat templates that you can just plug and play. Just go get it. I just added a search, find, buy ranking template yesterday. It's been killing it for one of my clients that we've been doing case studies on, and she ranked her product in 2 days, and it's just killing it. So go get it.
How do they find you? How do they find your course? How do they engage with you? How do they learn from you? How can we track you down in a non-creepy way?
Oh, well, please, if you really want to be truly not creepy, don't add me as a friend on Facebook because I don't post Amazon stuff on there. I just post pictures of my kids. So I will not accept you anyway. But find me on, my website is amzmessengerbotclub.com. Or you can email me and we'll put all the links in the show notes so you guys can find.
Yeah, you've got all that stuff in the show notes. So, all right, awesome. Well, thank you for sharing that. It's interesting. I love hearing the stories of where folks come from. They landed in the Amazon community and didn't even know you could sell on Amazon, but literally went from traditional marketing to Upwork to placenta eating marketing strategy to Amazon private label launch and customer retention sales.
And now I'm speaking at Amazon headquarters in London next week.
Now you're going to London. That's awesome.
Who knew? That's right.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. If you haven't got involved yet with our community, check us out, Private Label Legion on Facebook, the group, Private Label Legion page, like it so that you can get notification, new stuff. If you're listening on a podcast platform, go over to YouTube, check out Tim Jordan or Private Label Legion, hit the subscribe button on the YouTube channel. We'll send you notification. We have new videos and we're dropping multiple videos a week. If you're watching on YouTube, you can check us out on iTunes, Apple, Android Play, Stitcher, Podbean, all the big podcast platforms. You subscribe to us and get notifications on your cell phone when those come out. And I think that's it. So thank you Michelle Barnum-Smith, for joining us. Thank you for the information. Y'all check out chatbots. It's something that even with our own brands and our own products, we're not doing currently, but we need to get our tails in gear and do it because we know it's super powerful. We're just playing catch up. And I promise that Michelle Barnum-Smith is going to help us with those, whether she knows it or not. So
happy to help.
Well, thank you guys for listening. Thank you for our guests being on, and we will catch you guys on the next episode.
Thanks, Tim.
You've just wrapped up another episode of Legion Radio, hosted by Tim Jordan. Past episodes, links, and show notes can be found at privatelabellegion.com.